बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम नाज़रीन। वैसे तो हज़ारों अफ़गानों ने, लाखों अफ़गानों ने सोवियत यूनियन के ख़िलाफ़ मुज़ाहमत की और हज़ारों ने जानों की क़ुरबानियाँ दी, लाखों बेघर हो गए। लेकिन सोवियत यूनियन के ख़िलाफ़ मुज़ाहमत करने वालों में अहमद शाह मसूद का कोई मुकाबला नहीं, कोई हमसर नहीं। उन्होंने न सिर्फ ये कि उस जद्दोजहद और उस जिहाद में कलीदी और लीडिंग रोल अदा किया, बल्कि अहमद शाह मसूद की दानिश का और उनकी हिकमत का और उनकी जंगी महारत का आलमी सतह पे एतराफ़ किया जाता था। अहमद शाह मसूद एक विजनरी इंसान भी तस्वर किए जाते थे और अफ़गानिस्तान में 9/11 की सूरत में जो कुछ प्लान हुआ या उसके बाद जो कुछ हुआ, तो अहमद शाह मसूद ने अपनी रहलत से कुछ अर्सा कबल अपने दौरा यूरोप के दौरान उन सब चीज़ों को प्रेडिक्ट किया था। और मेरा अपना भी अंदाज़ा और तज्ज़िया ये है कि अगर अहमद शाह मसूद ज़िंदा होते तो ना शायद अफ़गानिस्तान का नक्शा वो बनता जो 9/11 के बाद बन गया। अहमद शाह मसूद की जाननशीनी इस वक्त जिन 3 अफराद के हिस्से में आई है, उसमें नुमाया नाम अहमद वली मसूद साहब का है। अहमद वली मसूद साहब का शुमार अफ़गानिस्तान के पढ़े लिखे और दुनिया के हालात को समझने वाले लोगों में होता है। उन्होंने पॉलिटिकल साइंस की तालीम बैरून मुल्क हासिल की। बैरून मुल्क अफ़गानिस्तान के और बरतानिया जैसे ममालिक में अफ़गानिस्तान के सफ़ीर की हैसियत से उनकी नुमाइंदगी भी की। इस वक्त वो अहमद शाह मसूद फाउंडेशन के सरबराह हैं और अफ़गानों को एजुकेट करने में और अफ़गानिस्तान के मौजूदा कॉन्फ्लिक्ट और बहरान को हल करने में अपना एक कलीदी किरदार अदा कर रही हैं। इस वक्त वो पाकिस्तान के दौरे पे तशरीफ़ लाए हैं। पाकिस्तान के दौरे में उनकी वज़ीर-ए-आज़म इमरान ख़ान साहब और पाकिस्तान के दीगर हुकाम से मुलाकातें हुई। हमारी खुशकिस्मती है और मैं मशकूर हूँ जनाब अहमद वली मसूद साहब का कि उन्होंने जिरगा के लिए वक्त निकाला है। तो उनसे हम जानेंगे कि वो अफ़गानिस्तान के मौजूदा हालात को किस तरह देखते हैं और उनके नज़दीक अफ़गानिस्तान के मौजूदा बहरान का हल क्या है, पाकिस्तान और अफ़गानिस्तान के ताल्लुकात कैसे हैं और पाकिस्तान और अफ़गानिस्तान के ताल्लुकात को हकीकी दोस्त और बरादर मुल्कों के ताल्लुकात में कैसे तब्दील किया जा सकता है। तो आइए नाज़रीन, जनाब अहमद वली मसूद साहब के साथ अपनी गुफ्तगू का आगाज़ करते हैं। बहुत शुक्रिया जी और वेलकम टू पाकिस्तान। थैंक यू वेरी मच। पहला सवाल सर मैं ये करना चाहूँगा कि आप जो इस वक्त पाकिस्तान और अफ़गानिस्तान के जो दो तरफ़ा ताल्लुकात हैं, बायलैटरल रिलेशंस हैं, उसको किस तरह देखते हैं और आपने पाकिस्तान आके और यहाँ हुक्काम से मिल के पाकिस्तान की पॉलिसी और अप्रोच में कुछ तब्दीली को महसूस किया है?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome.
And I really would like to give my regards, my best regard to all your viewers who will be watching us. And I'm very pleased to come here to Pakistan. And I have come here with a delegation. And we really want to promote people-to-people talks between people of Afghanistan and people of Pakistan. And we have been invited by the government of Pakistan, and that has been an opportunity to really see the leaders as well as the people of Pakistan. Of course, obviously that I have seen the changes. That's why we came here. You talked about Masood before. What Masood, my brother, said when he was alive, he said that we are waiting to see if there is a change of a strategy in Pakistan, then the door will be open. And on that hope, I have come here. We have seen the change, especially since the Prime Minister Imran Khan Sahib, he came, and I was the first person who said that Imran Khan is the new face of Pakistan. And he talked very clearly about the changes of strategy. So therefore, it's a good opportunity for both countries to really start a dialogue and to talk, because both countries, they are so much connected to each other that each policy, they are affecting each other. vice versa. So therefore, we have got the relation on different dimensions, economic relations, we have got security relations, we have got social relations, we have got political, all the sort of relations. So therefore, both of these countries, they're affecting each other, what happens to this and to that one. That is why it's very important to really have the dialogue, especially with the country. We have got almost 2,400 kilometers of the border, and both of them, they are Muslim. They have to interact, they have to start the dialogue to see how exactly we can bring peace.
एक्सेलेंसी, दोनों ममालिक के जो लोग हैं, अवाम है, हमने देखा है कि उनके दरमियान कभी प्रॉब्लम नहीं रहा है, लेकिन स्ट्रेटजिक लेवल पे अक्सर दोनों ममालिक के दरमियान कन्फ्रंटेशन आ जाती है या तज़ाद आ जाता है। तो आप क्या समझते हैं कि स्ट्रेटजिक लेवल पे दोनों के कंसल्टेशन को किस तरह बेहतर किया जा सकता है, और स्ट्रेटजिक लेवल पे दोनों ममालिक को, पाकिस्तान और अफ़गानिस्तान को कैसे करीब लाया जा सकता है?
I do absolutely agree with you that there is no problem between the people of Pakistan and Afghanistan, because our family have lived in Peshawar and for years and years. So we could see that the people of Pakistan have been so hospitable. Right now, they are so hospitable to millions of Afghan refugees. Even when I lived in Pakistan a long time ago, I did not really feel anything, because I thought that they were all my brothers. There was no difference at all. I have lived in Pakistan myself. So therefore, there is no differences, no problem between the people. Of course, there have been problems between the governments. Of course, the government, they are the bodies who are having their own policies. Obviously, there might be some strategic differences, approaches, but at the same time, let me say very clearly that at least in the past, what was the differences between the two sides? It was almost the work of the governments rather than the benefit of strategic differences. Therefore, we always thought that, well, while we have got so much in common, the two countries, why not we can really talk about it, we can really find a way of coexist, of living together, and just to exploit all the potential for the benefit of both countries, both of the people. But unfortunately, let me say that in the past there was differences of the governments. The government, whether they had it on the basis of different strategies or on the basis of continuation of their own power, that was different.
जो इंट्रा अफ़गान डायलॉग हो रहा है या हो रहा था, तो उसके अभी तक के रिज़ल्ट से आप कितने मुतमईन हैं, और क्या आपको कोई उम्मीद है कि दोहा में होने वाले इंट्रा अफ़गान डायलॉग के नतीजे में कोई अमन की राह हमवार हो सकती है अफ़गानिस्तान में?
Well, let me say very frankly that what happens in Doha, that was initiated, of course, by the United States and helped by some other countries to really start a peace dialogue. The first thing what happened, that there was a deal between the United States and the Taliban, which they said that it did not have much to do with the peace in Afghanistan. So therefore, that was the start. Now, you're talking about an inter-Afghan dialogue. Inter-Afghan dialogue, from our point of view, it has to start inside Afghanistan and amongst the Afghans. That was the first step we have to do. We have always said that the key for peace is inside Afghanistan. We really have to initiate that one inside Afghanistan to have that sort of dialogue. While the Taliban as an armed force or armed group are outside Afghanistan, then once we started there, we can of course do the dialogue with the Taliban as well. But at the same time, we are thankful that whoever has facilitated this dialogue between the Taliban and the Afghan delegation, that has been a good step. But so far, it has not yet produced a result, a positive result. We have not gone so far in a milestone towards the peace. Right now, at this moment, that's a sort of deadlock that we are having right now. So therefore, I'm not very optimistic about Doha. I have to say it clearly. I think that if we want to start an inter-Afghan dialogue, before anything, we really have got to get the roadmap right and a strategy for the peace right, because at least we have to go to that direction. At this moment, since the peace dialogue have started so far, it has even not gone to a desired direction, let alone how far we have gone.
आपने कहा कि वो एक डील थी पीस एग्रीमेंट की बजाय, उसी तरह मैंने भी उस वक़्त जब अमेरिका और तालिबान के दरमियान एग्रीमेंट हुआ तो मैं भी उसको कहता था कि ये अमेरिका और उनके दरमियान एक डील है, लेकिन पीस डील नहीं है, और पीस उस सूरत में आएगा कि जब इंट्रा अफ़गान तमाम अफ़गान आपस में मिल बैठ के किसी सलूशन तक पहुंचेंगे। तो आप क्या समझते हैं कि कौन सा फोरम है, क्या अफ़गान हुकूमत इस वक्त रियल टर्म में पीस चाहती है? क्योंकि एक ऑब्ज़र्वेशन ये है कि ना तालिबान जो है वो सीरियस हैं इस नेगोशिएशन को कामयाब करने में, और कुछ लोग ये इल्ज़ाम लगाते हैं कि मौजूदा अफ़गान हुकूमत भी संजीदा नहीं है। आपकी क्या ऑब्ज़र्वेशन है कि अफ़गान हुकूमत सीरियस है?
Well, I have been saying the same thing, that what happened between the United States and the Taliban, that was the deal between the two sides. Even Americans said that, look, we have made our own deal, now it's up to you. How exactly you make your own deal? You're Afghans, you have to work out yourself. That's what they said. I do think that both sides, the Taliban and government of Afghanistan under Ashraf Ghani, at the moment there is not a strong will to really go for the peace, as you said, because since it has started this peace program or peace dialogue, we can see big differences now. They are not going to get closer. They are going even getting apart. Let me say it very clearly. I do agree with what you said, that in Afghanistan we have got over 30 million people and over 30 ethnicities. We really have to get all the ethnicities into this peace process. And at the moment, unfortunately, that is not the case. It's just a dialogue going on in Doha. It is mainly based on how exactly they can have a political dialogue or political agreement between the two sides of Dr. Ashraf Ghani and the Taliban. That will not yield a result for Afghanistan for the peace, because that's not peace for the people of Afghanistan. That's a deal between the two parties, government and the Taliban. It's got nothing to do with the peace in Afghanistan. So for durable peace, we really have to include all the players inside Afghanistan, all the segments of society, as well as all the players outside Afghanistan.
नाज़रीन, एक मुख्तसर सी ब्रेक, वापस आएंगे तो जनाब अहमद वली मसूद साहब के साथ ये गुफ्तगू कंटिन्यू करेंगे। आज के जरगे में हमारे साथ हैं मुमताज़ अफ़गान रहनुमा और अहमद शाह मसूद के भाई जनाब अहमद वली मसूद साहब। एक्सेलेंसी, ये मुनासिब और प्रॉपर फोरम कौन सा हो सकता है? एक जो पीस कौंसिल भी है डॉक्टर अब्दुल्ला की क़ियादत में, वो मुज़ाकरात करें तो बेहतर होगा या कि नहीं, आप कोई और मेकनिज़म प्रपोज करते हैं?
I think that the way we have to go forward is this. Before anything, we really have to have the will to bring peace, because if you don't have the will, then you can find the ways how to escape from it. At the moment, that is the case. Both sides, the Taliban as well as Dr. Ashraf Ghani, they really want to find, they're trying to find a way how to escape from the peace deal. Not that they want to really try to bring the peace deal to succeed. So therefore, at this moment, I cannot see that this is a true forum, a proper forum. I cannot see Doha as a proper venue to do this peace deal. I do believe that if we are serious, then of course we really have to set out an address so people of Afghanistan can put their trust on that address. At this moment, they do not trust the government of Afghanistan under Ghani, but at the same time they are scared of the Taliban. So therefore, we don't have the proper address, a proper channel. Now, as far as the peace institution under Dr. Abdullah is concerned, this institution and this at the moment it's not inclusive. It's not everybody is not on board there either. Even that one has been somehow divided like that. So therefore, we really have, before anything, we have to find an address. And I do believe that in order to do that one, the best thing for Dr. Ghani, if he really wants to see the peace process succeed, better to really have some sort of either you call it coalition or you call it sort of interim or provisional or anything. Of course, under the framework of the existing system, if you can get that one, especially if that sort of coalition is consists of or comprised of different ethnicities representative in that sort of shura or the council. So first we really have to bring the consensus there, because we have to have the address so people can feel comfortable to cooperate with that one, and they can put their confidence that this is the proper address. Once we do that one, once all the ethnicities are being represented there as a coalition to take the lead there, then of course 4 things can happen immediately. First, the violence will drop down, because the Taliban also agrees with that one, because the Taliban's condition is that Dr. Ashraf Ghani should not be there, like that. So immediately that will drop down, the violence, because there will be no suicide bombing. The second, there will be consensus from all the parties. There will be consensus on that council. The third, then we do have sort of a clear address that they can, in this address can really set out a technical team to really see what sort of system we can have in the future, what should happen for the election, how long the election would. All of that can be worked out within 1 or 2 years. But before anything, we really have to get a proper address, a value, so the people of Afghanistan can put their trust. Right now at the moment, they don't do that one, because they know that Ashraf Ghani cannot bring peace. They know that Taliban cannot bring peace alone. They also know that if Ashraf Ghani and Taliban get together, then that will be another round of a bigger rift, because all the ethnicities will be outside. So therefore, a bigger rift will appear as well. So it will not help peace. But if we even go to that extent, that we can have the Taliban, as well as the Ashraf Ghani, as well as some other Mujahideen forces to come together to make a coalition, if these Mujahideen forces, or if these Ashraf Ghani, if they are the same old faces which people of Afghanistan known them for the past 19 years, and they also know that they have failed Afghanistan because they could not really use the support of the international community for the benefit of Afghanistan, so therefore they will not trust that one. So the best thing is that all these very valuable parties, they really have to come to that sort of consensus that we can set out a leadership council, consists of all the ethnicities which could be represented there. Then from there we can start the peace process.
आप ये सजेस्ट कर रहे हैं कि अशरफ गनी अपनी जगह मौजूद रहें, लेकिन तमाम एथनिसिटीज़ पे मौजूद एक कोलिशन बना के वो तालिबान से मुज़ाकरात करें। अब कुछ लोग कहते हैं, और शायद अमेरिका की तरफ से भी ये डिमांड आया कुछ ममालिक ने, कि नहीं, उससे पहले एक सब के लिए काबिल कबूल इंक्लूसिव और इंटरिम गवर्नमेंट बनाना चाहिए, तब तालिबान से कुछ बात हो सकती है। तो आप भी उसके हक़ में हैं या?
Well, as you know better than in any situation like Afghanistan, when you want to bring peace, to have a sort of a provisional way of bringing, that's something very natural, of course. Nobody should be very sensitive about that one, that, well, why you're talking about this one. I'm not suggesting, what I'm trying to say, whatever mechanism is right, but if it produces that all people have to be included in the peace process, that will really give the result. Now, whether you call it the provisional or interim, or you call it a sort of coalition government or something, but we really have to set out the condition for that. This one is just for a certain period of time, let's say 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. These people cannot take the office after that one. They cannot be candidates. These people can, I mean, there are certain conditions we can put.
But Excellency, Ashraf Ghani claims that I am an elected president. I have Tajik Amrullah Saleh, I have Uzbek Rashid Dostum. So he claims that I have the representative of all ethnicities.
No, they are not. They are not. They cannot claim that one, because that was, everyone knows, inside Afghanistan, outside Afghanistan, the international community, the whole world knows that was a fraudulent election. We all know that he did not win this one. We all know that when he came to the office, because of the compromise which was made by Khalizad, that if he was willing to go for peace, so then he can be the president there. We all know that. We all know that one. Nobody can deny that one. If they say that, well, we are legitimate president, that's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. I categorically, not me also, the people of Afghanistan categorically reject that one. Not only that one, even since he became the president, he could not really acquire the legitimacy that he could get. I mean, there was an opportunity that on the way he could do something good in order to gain legitimacy. Even he lost that opportunity as well. So he cannot claim that he is the legitimate president of Afghanistan. That is wrong. So that is why it makes the need for a new system or professional system as a must for the peace.
मसूद साहब, जो रीजनल कंट्रीज़ हैं, पर्टिकुलरली ईरान और सेंट्रल एशियन कंट्रीज़ और फिर खुसूसन जो रीजनल पावर्स हैं चाइना और रशिया, उनके किरदार को आप किस तरह देखते हैं और क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं आप कि वो ममालिक क्या करें जो अफ़गानिस्तान और रीजन के पीस में मददगार हों?
Well, let me say that as you know that Afghanistan is located in different security zones. You know, on one side there is, you can say, Russia, as you mentioned, this emerging power who wants to have some sort of thing in Afghanistan. China, our old friends have been those countries in the region, including, of course, Pakistan, then Iran, then India, then now some Arab countries, Turkey. All of them, they are players in Afghanistan. So therefore, we are in a very kind of difficult location, difficult situation. And while we have got so contradictory interests there, it's very difficult really to kind of come out, especially for the people of Afghanistan. It's not a very strong country. So that's why it's very difficult. So that is why we always say that the peace or durable peace in Afghanistan depends on the two pillars. One pillar inside Afghanistan, the consensus amongst different ethnicities there, in order to have a system so they can live with each other as well as with the outside world. And the second pillar is the consensus among these players in Afghanistan, regional and extra-regional powers there. So if they can reach some sort of consensus amongst themselves. Now, on what basis, what should be done in order for them to reach there? I do believe that if we did have a strong government, a strong national government, we could have really convinced, we could have got somewhere from the position of strength. We could have talked to different segments of society, especially, for example, if Dr. Ashraf Ghani claims that he is the legitimate president, he could have easily said that, look, we are weak. I'm not weak, I'm the president, but we are weak, the whole Afghan. Let's come together. Let's come together to reach a consensus for the sake of Afghanistan. Let's have a power sharing in order to have a stronger government. From the position of strength, let's bring peace to our country, and we have to talk to the different players who are involved in Afghanistan. But unfortunately, he did not do it, so therefore it's weak. That is why Afghanistan is in the center of so much conflict of interest and different strategies and different wishes and personal
different
politics.
proxy wars.
Yes, yes.
तो इन हालात में आप क्या समझते हैं कि ये जो रीजनल कंट्रीज़ हैं वो क्या करें? बीइंग एन अफ़गान लीडर, आप उनसे क्या एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि वो किस तरह का रोल प्ले करें कि ये प्रॉक्सी वॉर्स भी अफ़गानिस्तान में ख़त्म हो, और फिर ये कि ये कंट्रडिक्टरी इंटरेस्ट रखने वाली क़ुव्वतों को एक पॉइंट पे कैसे लाया जा सकते हैं? मसलन ईरान और अमेरिका को अगर हम देखें, चाइना के साथ उनकी कन्फेडरेशन है, लेकिन चाइना अफ़गानिस्तान का भी पार्टनर, पाकिस्तान और इंडिया का कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है और दोनों का प्रॉक्सी वार भी अफ़गानिस्तान में हुआ है। तो इन सब प्लेयर्स को कॉमन ग्राउंड पे कैसे लाया जा सकते हैं और आप उनको क्या एडवाइस करेंगे?
Well, that is very difficult. Now, as I mentioned, how to really bring these countries to come into consensus. The only way which will be left, either we inside Afghanistan, we the Afghans reach a consensus for the sake of our country, including the Taliban and all of that, saying that, well, enough is enough, we really want to get together. Then from the position of strength, we can have a foreign policy, of course, a sort of very a balanced foreign policy, so no country can feel that they are being threatened through Afghanistan. So we can say, well, this is Afghanistan. We want to have a relation with all of you. It should be a sort of balance. So everybody, every player or every country should feel secure like that. Because Afghanistan, either if it goes one way or the other, for example, during the Russian invasion of Afghanistan, Afghanistan categorically went towards that Eastern Bloc. Then, of course, since 1979, Afghanistan is in turmoil because all other countries, they really got involved. And until now that the Americans are here, Afghanistan do not have a sort of balanced foreign policy. So therefore, we're in much turmoil like that. So in order to reach there, to really tackle, either we can have from inside Afghanistan, we can have a national government, national policy. Based on that one, we can have our foreign policy as a balanced one. We can assure the countries that Afghanistan will not be used as a proxy or as a tool or a strategic tool for anybody. This is Afghanistan. And we can be really in the middle of the economic potential or any other thing. Or if we don't do that one, this is what I guess. If we don't do that one, whether Taliban or Ghani or us or anybody, then what happens? At the end of the day, any peace deal, anything which would happen, that would happen amongst different powers who are involved in Afghanistan. And I do believe that once they do that one, then they would do based on their own strategic interest, not on the interest of Afghanistan. Every country would say that, look, we left you, you Afghans could not really get along with each other, and you could not bring peace with consensus amongst yourselves. So it's better that we should not be threatened. We should have a sphere of influence inside Afghanistan. We should have our security built inside Afghanistan. So each country would see that one as their own legitimate right to do that one. Then Afghanistan somehow will be fragmented. Only the Kabul, around Kabul, whatever happens, some sort of government will be there. We don't know what sort of government will be there, but the rest of the country will be under influence of different players, and that's not good for Afghanistan.
आपने प्लेयर्स की तो बात की, लेकिन पीस प्रोसेस को के हवाले से जो स्पॉयलर्स है इनसाइड अफगानिस्तान और आउटसाइड अफगानिस्तान, वो कौन-कौन से हैं?
Well, the spoilers are those that still they think that Afghanistan is in the 20th century. The spoilers are those that they still think that, well, we are the majority, we have to have all the power in Afghanistan, we have to go to the old codes of the conduct in Afghanistan. They do not submit to the new Afghanistan, to democracy, election, all of that. The spoilers are those who are making fraudulence in the election, and they want to come into power with the help of the outside power. They are the spoilers. The spoilers are those who want really to use Afghanistan as a mafia economic state for themselves, which really hurts the people of Afghanistan, but they benefit from that war economy for themselves. They are the spoilers. The spoilers are those who are connected to one or other players around Afghanistan who are working for the interests of other countries. They're all the spoilers in Afghanistan, and we have got many of them.
नाज़रीन, अहमद वली मसूद साहब के साथ गुफ्तगू जारी रहेगी, लेकिन एक वक्फे के बाद। आज के जरिए में हमारे साथ हैं मसूद फाउंडेशन के सरबराह जनाब अहमद वली मसूद साहब। एक्सेलेंसी, जो नई अमेरिकन एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन आई है जो बाइडन की, पहले तो लग रहा था कि डोनाल्ड ट्रंप साहब अफ़गानिस्तान से जान छुड़ाना चाहते हैं और बाहर सूरत अपनी अफवाज को निकालना चाहते हैं। तो बीइंग एन अफ़गान लीडर, आप जो बाइडन एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को क्या सजेस्ट करेंगे कि वो तालिबान के साथ प्रोसेस और एग्रीमेंट को कंटिन्यू करें, वो अपने ट्रूप विड्रॉल्स पे अमल करें, या कि नहीं अपने ट्रूप्स को अफ़गानिस्तान में बरकरार रखें, या एग्रीमेंट को रिवाइज करें, या एग्रीमेंट से निकल जाएं?
Well, what President Trump suggested for Afghanistan, it was somehow he just said that, look, I need my election. I want to have a gaining card. So therefore, he gave the mission to Mr. Pompeo, the foreign minister, and Mr. Pompeo handed over to Khalizad, go do something quicker, regardless of what happens in Afghanistan. Get something quicker done and come, because we need that one. And they did it with the election. That's why exactly why Ashraf Ghani came into power, because Dr. Khalilzad helped him, and he wanted in return to get his agenda done. But unfortunately, we lost a big opportunity as good election for Afghanistan. Also, if this peace process goes this way, we lose another opportunity. Unfortunately, Dr. Khalilzad's role was not very beneficial for both election as well as the peace process. Now, what happened, that was the past. Now, Joe Biden new administration, I'm pretty sure that he will not take the decision alone. He will take it with the Defense Ministry, the Pentagon, the State Department, with other institutions there, because he feels that everybody have to be responsible for what happens there. So therefore, they will really have a new approach. But I don't know whether with this new approach, they will change the agreement between the Taliban and the American, or they will review it, or would they have another suggestion. But one thing I know that they have already expressed that one, is that they want to have at least they have signaled that one, to have a responsible withdrawal from Afghanistan. That is why they may extend the time for their presence or engagement in Afghanistan for 1 or 2 years.
लेकिन अब जबकि पहले अमरीकी 1 लाख किसी ज़माने में फ़ौज थी, उसके दौरान तालिबान को डिफीट नहीं कर सके, अब जबकि अफ़गान तालिबान के प्रिजनर्स भी मोर देन 5000 उनको रिहा किया जा चुका है, अफ़गान तालिबान का उस एग्रीमेंट के नतीजे में मोराल भी अप हो चुका है, तो दोबारा तो अमरीकी उस तरह लाखों फ़ौजें नहीं भिजवा सकते। नेटो को भी काफ़ी हद तक नाराज़ किया था डोनाल्ड ट्रंप ने। तो अगर अमेरिकन अपने उस एग्रीमेंट से पीछे हट जाते हैं, तो आप नहीं समझते कि इससे तालिबान अफ़गानिस्तान में जंग को मज़ीद भी तेज़ कर देंगे और अफ़गानिस्तान को मज़ीद नुकसान होगा?
Well, let me to go back a bit, because I just want to go back to the state of my late brother Masood when he was alive as the resistance leader. I was in between when I had the contact with the Americans as well as with my brother, because I was pursuing the policies of my brother. That time, when the American contacted through me, my late Masood, and they said, look, we have got problem. There is Osama bin Laden as a terrorist and others. How exactly we can do that one? They even said that we put a bounty of $5 million on the head of Osama bin Laden if they can cooperate. When I gave that message to my brother Masood, he said that why American thinks that by getting rid of Osama, the whole terrorist network or the extremists will just completely will be destroyed. Why do you think that one? It's very naive thinking. And why do you think that we are as a group here just to have a bounty for 5 million, get rid of somebody and that's it? No. We are the owner of this country. We are in this country. If they're serious about fighting terrorism, then they have to come and talk with us. If they don't do anything like that, at least they have to extend their moral support, who is right, who is wrong. If they really think that they are terrorists, they have to say it, that who is terrorist, who is not. That's enough for me. Now, as you put it here, that hundreds of thousands of troops were there, if they're this is not because the strength of Taliban. May I just say it very clearly that it's not because of strength of Taliban, because of the policies there and the weakness of the government of Afghanistan and the policies which have kept the Taliban and as a force there. If, for example, if it comes to it, say Americans say, look, we don't have anything to do with Afghanistan, we go. But at the same time, we leave it to the people of Afghanistan. It does not necessarily mean that the Taliban will succeed militarily, because the people of Afghanistan, they are alive. If those resistant forces, they have gone, but their young generation are there, the geography of resistance have expanded so much that not only those fighters, but the women of Afghanistan, the younger generation of Afghanistan, the civil society, they're all resistant forces. So therefore, one should not think that because American go, the whole thing will go down. That's not the case like that. But the problem here is that, of course, we have got a very weak and corrupt government. That is the problem. That is but the people are alive. The people are alive. So therefore, if they want to leave, we hope that they can do it responsibly, because initially when the American came just to root out terrorism in Afghanistan, to help Afghanistan, to do the nation state building, all of that. Nothing happened. After 19 years, we cannot see. So it's better. The only thing they have got moral obligation to do is that they have to really think about the legitimacy of Afghanistan once before they leave Afghanistan.
ठीक, आखिरी सवाल, बल्कि सवाल नहीं, आपका पैगाम, क्योंकि पाकिस्तान में एक परसेप्शन या मिस परसेप्शन है कि जी जो शमाल के अफ़गानी हैं वो पाकिस्तान से नफ़रत करते हैं और पाकिस्तान के मुखालिफ हैं। जिस तरह आपने शुरू में फ़रमाया कि आप ख़ुद भी पाकिस्तान में रहें, शहीद अहमद शाह मसूद भी पाकिस्तान में रहे, उस्ताद बुरहानुद्दीन रब्बानी साहब भी पाकिस्तान में रहें, तो क्या वाकई अफ़गानिस्तान के शमाल में पाकिस्तान के ख़िलाफ़ नफ़रत है और आप एक अफ़गानी और ताजिक लीडर और अहमद शाह मसूद के जानशीन की हैसियत से पाकिस्तानी अवाम को क्या पैगाम देना चाहेंगे?
Well, let me say that we have always said, once again we want to reiterate, we state that the people of Afghanistan and Pakistan, they don't have much differences. We have lived in Pakistan. They have given a refuge to millions of people of Afghanistan. We could see the years that we lived in Pakistan, we lived as one brother, not much as my father died here, he's buried in Pakistan. My brother was here, of course, but at the same time, many Afghans. What really happened, even I said this one, the last time when I came, I said to the Prime Minister Imran Khan, it was not the people of both sides, that was the policies of the government, especially the policies that made these people fight. Now you talk about the north of the country. Why should we have the problem with people of Pakistan? Are we going mad? Why? Is there any difference? I mean, reason, somebody have to give me a reason for that one. You may say that one for some other parts, but not for our parts. They don't have no problem. There is no logic for it like that. But only one thing, that because the other side policy was to promote one, and that's what the government of Pakistan now admit, that our old policies were wrong, because we were promoting one ethnicity and we are demoting another one. That's why the whole hostility rose. And now we have realized our mistake. We want to correct it under the framework of a new strategy, new chapter, and we want to have connection with all ethnicities in Afghanistan. We want to see everybody in the same eyes, and that is good. So therefore, we did not have the problem with the people of Pakistan with Pakistan. We will not have this problem. Of course, if somebody are cornering us for whatever reason, a strategic interest or for personal whatever, we have to defend ourselves. That is our legitimate right to defend ourselves. Otherwise, there is no logic whatsoever. Why should we have difference? Why should we be the enemy?
बहुत शुक्रिया जनाब अहमद वली मसूद साहब, हमें वक्त देने के लिए। हमारी दुआ है कि अल्लाह ताला अफ़गानिस्तान में अमन लाए और पाकिस्तान और अफ़गानिस्तान को रियल टर्म्स में एक दूसरे का भाई और हमदर्द और पड़ोसी बना दे। इस दुआ के साथ आज के स्पेशल जरगे से इजाज़त चाहता हूँ। अल्लाह हाफ़िज़।